hands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Patricia Duchesne, Mike Diedrich, Jeffrey Holliday, Karen Van Lee, Mike Console,
Present.
Tracy Darling, Junaid Shaw,
Here.
and Charles Holtz.
Here.
All right, so it says exec session, which at this point, I think we'll do after, because I think our agenda now should be pretty quick. So if you want to start, Ms. Johnson, with the superintendent report to do the code of conduct and safety plan, and then you can do on the presentation as well.
You have to go up to the laptop. Nope, go up to the laptop. Or Stacy. Do you want code of conduct or safety plan first?
Let's do the code of conduct first.
There's three things. That's the code of conduct, the one you were just on.
You want it on the draft code on this?
Yep.
So
That's not gonna work for them.
you want me to navigate this?
That's just for the slideshow that you did.
Okay. So you,
Yeah, you can be like,
Okay.
that's.
this is the regular code of conduct. All of the changes that have been made are in color, a variety of different colors. So as we get to that, if you want to look at it or need a clarification, we can talk about that. So this is beginning that discipline is a shared responsibility between school, home, and community, and everything that's involved. Here, the primary concern is establishing a code, it said code of conduct, where it said discipline, that was taken out. And all of the his, hers is changed to there. So wherever that was, you'll see it crossed out and pronoun there is being used. So responsibilities of students. Students attend school so that they may develop to their fullest potential. With this in mind, each student is expected, to accept responsibility for their actions, their rights, to recognize that school staff assume the role of surrogate parent instead of teachers. It's school staff, everyone. So incidents included here, engage in conduct that is disruptive. Examples of disruptive conduct include but are not limited to, and added was planning or promoting disruption of an academic environment. So here, engage in any form of academic misconduct. Examples of academic misconduct include plagiarism, which is the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as your own. Cheating, including acting dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage. Copying, altering records, and we cross out change or cause to change without valid permission. So altering records without valid permission is what we're dealing with.
Deb, I don't know if you know the answer to this, if you coming in recently, what are the one's thoughts or take on AI with plagiarism and academic dishonesty?
We have not dealt with that at all.
Okay.
Something that the board needs to think about. So here is just the unauthorized use of AI, assisting another student in any of the above actions. So these were crossed out. Now, to excessive absences, tardies, and early dismissal, missing 10% or more time, whether from specific classes or whole or partial school days, is considered chronically absent. So missing 10% for whatever reason is considered chronically absent, and that when SED, State Education Department, collects the information, they look for students who have missed 10%. Excessive absences, tardies, early dismissal may require a variety of interventions ranging from parent meetings, home visits, attendance, improvement plans, frequent communication home, up to reporting excessive absences to the district attorney and or child protection. Students may face the full range of disciplinary consequences for excessive absences, including extended detention or in-school suspension. And I want to add that we sent our code of conduct to our new lawyers, and they combed through the whole thing, and most of the changes are a lot of what they recommended.
What were some of the big changes that they recommended with their take versus what our former attorneys took, or admin that are here? You know, if they
A lot of it was the language.
just jargon.
Just moving
Right.
from he or she to there, and differences that could cause someone to misread an item or create two scenarios where it had different meanings. Okay, and that was the attendance policy that was updated. The cooperative relationship between home and school is essential to each student's successful development and achievements. To achieve this wholesome relationship, parents are urged, and this is the whole thing that parents are supposed to do. And I don't know how many parents really know that that even exists, because it has to be a partnership between parents, the school, and the student. So go ahead. So all the his, her is gone here. Assume responsibility for dissemination and enforcement of the code of conduct. Previously it was called Code of Discipline and Responsibilities. And I certainly like Code of Conduct much better. So this is cell phones. I had sent the new cell phone policy out ahead of time. It's posted on the district webpage. It is listed underneath Catskill CCSD families, right underneath the Cat's Care Room. The new policy is there. There is a document from the state of New York, Governor Hochul, giving directions and guidelines on how to create the new policy. And then we have a video interview with Mr. Didana, students and parents, that explain, the kids ask questions about the policy, parents ask questions, and Mr. Didana was in the hot seat to answer. He did a good job. So at the elementary school with the cell phones, students are discouraged from bringing devices to school. Any device that is brought to school must be powered off and kept in the student's personal cubby or locker or in the school office. At the secondary level, student devices must be powered off and stored in the district-provided locked yonder couches assigned to each student. So students are assigned a specific yonder pouch with a number on it, and they keep that for all of the years they're in high school. We collected yonder pouches from seniors this year, and they will be reused, and we have ordered new to replace any that are missing. Students are expected to bring back their old yonder couches on the first day of school. That's a huge expectation.
What about the locking situation, unlocking when school is dismissed?
When school what?
Is dismissed, because the couch locks,
Right,
and then there's a magnet that unlocks, which I'm assuming only staff is gonna have.
right. That will be here in the building, and we're also going to speak with Catskill PD to see if they will keep a magnet there
Right.
so that they're the only ones in town, they're 24/7.
Right, but so when the child leaves school, at the end of the day, your couch gets unlocked, so someone's gonna have to be there to lock.
There's magnets at the exits on the
It's
door.
a magnetic lock, but just,
So it's something they can do on their own.
yes.
Okay.
They're white out.
Perfect. Okay.
And we bought more locks, and there are locks at every exit, student exit, for that purpose. The big question was, if my kid forgets to unlock on Friday night, what do we do?
Right, so what you're saying is there's options to be able to
Correct.
unlock if they have to figure that out.
And the only people here are PD,
I
so,
know, and their kids, so they're not, but it's okay.
right.
We'll figure it out.
Deb, we've seen a lot of, IEP and level 4 students that are trying to add the use of a phone to their specific plan. Or
That has to be done with a doctor's note.
Okay.
So we have not seen a lot of that yet, even though it's been online, on the website and everything. I'm not sure that everyone realizes the impact of all of this, and Mr. Dedonet is confident we can do this. Cellular phone state assessments have never been allowed, so they will be retrieved as students enter and handed back as they leave. Okay, so here's where it says students with IEP, section 504, documentation from practitioners, especially requiring use of electronic devices, may do so as specified. So with that doctor's note, a care plan will be created and they will be allowed to do whatever their physician or healthcare person has said. Okay, so here, to disruption of the academic process, the student shall be subject to immediate suspension, provided that the confrontation as described above occurs as soon thereafter as reasonably practical. So this is, it is not possible to confront the student prior to the removal from school premises. This confrontation shall take place as soon thereafter as practical. You don't want to create more of a disruption when you have an issue. So that was the language that was put in that. So in the issue of the hearing, all notices of long-term suspension hearings shall contain provisions indicating that the student has the right to be represented by an attorney or lay counsel, that the transcript of the hearing will be prepared, that a parent may request a copy of the student's disciplinary record, and that the student has the right to subpoena witnesses or otherwise present witnesses in their defense. The time, date, and location of the hearing shall also be prominently set forth in the notice. Okay, and that reiterates the student's right to counsel. And in the end, parents can know what happens with their child. They are not privy to what happens to the other student. Okay, so the student may be subject to discipline for conduct which is committed off school premises or at non-school sponsored activities to the extent that the administrator, superintendent of schools, and/or board of ed believes that the continued attendance in school of the student would constitute an endangerment to the health, safety, welfare, or morals of students and/or others in our schools, and/or where such students' acts create or would foreseeably create a risk of substantial disruption within the school environment. And that just kind of boosts the school's ability for after-school things that happen, because sometimes they're connected and nobody knows they're connected. So this is the chart for harassment and intimidation. Not a lot of that has changed. And we've just updated names and email addresses here. And this is the DASA, the coordinator, what to do. So we changed email to messaging, because there are a lot of ways that students message one another. So that was just wording again. So infractions with penalty references, and some of this is new, but it's a rewording of everything that was there prior. And then multiple incidents or chronic violations of the same behavior will warrant more intensive interventions and more serious consequences. Administrators, teachers, student support teams may also use a low-level intervention or consequence when it is appropriate. Wording again. And at the end, please sign and return by the close of school on Friday, September 26, 2025. And I don't know if we've made a different plan to sign that, or it's Parent Square. So we'll fix that so it's on Parent Square and parents can electronically sign. But that is the expectation, that it is signed so parents acknowledge that they have read everything that's in here.
Deb, since we have the old version, can we get the new version as well?
Well, we didn't finalize this because last year the board wanted to see the changes that were made, so we left it that way for now. And we will have the updated copy that will be on the website and used on Parent Square.
Yeah, once we vote on it tonight, then that will be it.
I'm not messing it up.
Okay, the safety plan.
Have any questions about that plan before she moves on? From anyone, it's a public hearing, so.
Public can ask questions. Sorry.
I know there's two definitions of weapon in the school code of conduct. Was that addressed?
I'm not sure. Nula, will you write that down, please?
Mhm.
And what were the two?
There was one under special education.
Okay. And you could send me an email,
Okay,
all right?
yeah,
D. Johnson, CatskillCSD.org.
yeah, there.
Okay, Mr. Brown?
I'm surprised that this is up for the first night, but I do have a question regarding the procedure that the school district will follow if the student goes to a different BOCES program than on a full-time basis, for example, or any other location, do the rights of the students follow the student to that location, or do they have to follow the rules of BOCES or whatever other institution that they're at?
I think once it hits an OSS and it goes for a long-term suspension, then that should go back to the home district, from how I understand it. If there's something that a child does, let's say at Tech Valley, and it's something lower level that fits the code of conduct there, like skipping class, then they handle that there. Or from my experience, when there are things that are larger than that, typically the home district is involved in that decision to some extent, depending on if it's special education, EIP, so it really all depends. But if it's a large scale, the home district is involved with that, because let's say there's a student that does something and is on a long-term suspension, then we'd be on the hook to find a tutor for that child. How I understand it.
From what I understand, if the offense occurs at another location or another school, another program that Catskill is involved in, do they have the same right to call students at that point as witnesses?
I don't know, that was.
I
it's probably
can
case by case.
I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak out of turn. So Nula, will you write that down as well, please? And we'll check it out.
I appreciate that.
Connie?
Yes, I have a couple things. I caught the part in the beginning about student absences.
Mm-hmm.
If they miss like 10% or something. And I thought I heard that the punishment for that could be them getting in-school detention. And to me, if that is what I heard, does it really make sense to punish a kid by putting him in detention if they're already missing too much school?
I think the purpose of that was so they could have staff there to help them make up work that they had missed.
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't just be sitting there doing nothing. They would be making up the work that they had.
Okay. And in the harassment and intimidation section, kind of went over that pretty quickly. I don't want to go too far in depth, but what's the punishment for someone that harasses or intimidates another student? Is there a aggression thing?
Well, I believe that's the conflict, and then,
Page 19.
I'm sorry.
Page 9, I was talking about page 19.
okay. Okay, is this, to start here?
For after it says harassment.
One. So intimidation, which includes engaging in actions or statements, put an individual in fear of bodily harm, the warning, detention, in-school suspension, suspension from school 5 days, suspension from school in excess. So this is a gradual.
Does the school have to go by that gradual thing, or can they just go right to picking them out of school for a certain number of days or something?
It depends on the nature of the offense.
Okay.
If somebody is injuring a staff member, that's one thing. If they're just running their mouth, that's something else.
My concern is there another section that this is harassment and intimidation? What if they injure another student, give another student a concussion, causing that concussion to another student? Would the school be bound just to give them a detention?
No.
That's our concern. And I think the last thing is there was no sign-in sheet for public speaking. Is there not going to be a public speaking?
It's
I
behind
didn't
you.
see it when I walked in.
It's right behind you.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was on the other side.
But this is a public hearing, so you can speak anyway.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if it's the right time to bring up concerns regarding a DASA type thing, and a parent's rights to, if the school files a DASA report, does the victim's parent, are they notified that the school? It seems, I thought they were supposed to be sent that report, or at least given
They're not.
results of the report.
They're not given the report. They're given a notice that a DASA report was filed.
Okay.
And that, again,
So we get that in the right place. I don't know if this is the right time to bring up an incident that I'm concerned about, or if it's during the regular board meeting.
Do it during the regular board meeting. Nuala will write it down. We'll check it out for you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, safety plan. Any other questions? So this is the standard, again, district safety plan. There were no changes that were made in here for this year. Same one that we had last year. You can scroll a little bit. The purpose, district-wide school safety plan was developed pursuant to the commissioner's regs. And to say that individual school building safety plans are not shared with the public because it's a confidential document for the protection of students and staff in that building. So this is just the district-wide. The PBIS plan, functional behavior assessments, all sweeps. And all teachers will review these plans at the beginning of school each year so that they are also aware of any changes that we have.
Is there like a sign-off sheet for that? So that you know they read, or whoever knows they read it, they know what it says?
I don't believe there is.
We reviewed it in the fact committee.
Okay.
That
And we did talk at an admin meeting about what kids would do if they were up on the field with a gym class and we had an active shooter or whatever, where they would go and what should happen. And as I understand it, when teachers take kids outside for gym or whatever, they're supposed to have a radio or a phone to be able to contact the office.
Or security.
Right. And we do still have our security team, and they do carry weapons, and they know what their job is and what our job is. So, let's see. Following protocols for appropriate responses to emergencies are provided as examples of responses to bomb threats, hostage intrusions, and kidnappings. And it just goes through what happens and how to delegate an incident command person who will take care of things in the event of an incident. So it has been decided that because Catskill PD is so close, they would be the first ones on the scene instead of waiting for state troopers or anybody else. And we are carrying out some meetings over the summer already. We've had one just to go over these things and where the loopholes are, the gaps are, so we can firm it up and make sure that we are really set. And these documents are also on the school website. You can click on them and read them at any time. If you have questions, just send an email to Nuala or to myself. these are just suggested, appendices, and these have been updated with new names, current people in place.
Just make sure we update some of the names that we see in there so that they're current.
Where, okay,
And then, you know, September
what page
3rd,
is that?
just make that 2025.
Okay, Mila, can you write that down?
15, 16. I think this is once we all required to complete these trainings, so once those, that's what it's saying, right? Preventative trainings, bloodborne pathogens, hazardous communication, so we will all, as staff, have to do those.
And Questar will have the link for that as of August 15th. We have 13th anymore. And the practice drills that we are required to have, what, 4? Well, 12 fire drills or lockdown? School bus emergency drills are done 3 times a year, and they could usually do those in the loop at the elementary school or here, and the loop coming in. So here, response to emergency situations, the superintendent's office will be the central point of communication for the district. Information about emergencies will be determined by the superintendent or his designee and will be relayed to senior staff, directors, principals, and/or outside agencies as necessary. Superintendent, his or her clerical staff will be integral in conveying communications as appropriate. And most of that will have been talked about in meetings so that everybody knows what place and what role they play if anything happens. Emergency dismissal plan must be in place for all students in cases of emergency dismissals. Phone calls cannot be made to you. That's one thing that when something happens and with the cell phones and everything, the worst thing you can do is call the school building or call the school because it jams the lines if we really need to contact someone. So this is the emergency dismissal plan. Are we going to put that on Parent Square? Might as well.
They have to fill this out at registration, and then it's not something that's regularly updated. Okay. I think we can add it to our transportation pieces.
So this, for the purposes of this protocol, a violent incident is defined as an intentional form of behavior in which one person threatens, attempts, or to harm, or does harm to another. An act of violence upon a teacher, administrator, or school employee, possession of a weapon, including but not limited to firearms, knife, explosive, incendiary device, or other dangerous instrument capable of causing physical injury or death. So this is protocol number 2. Emergency numbers. really advise parents to take a look at this and give us a call if you have a question or a comment.
We didn't rehearse this, I know, fast enough.
Yeah. We did not. This dinosaur cannot operate the computer. I'm trying.
You're doing a good job, that's fine.
So this is the glossary of firms and everything that's in, the plan.
I've read through this a bunch of times, I don't know if anyone else has, I know we have had this for a couple of days now, so if there are any other questions for Deb about the safety plan, because she has another presentation she's doing, want to make sure we give the self-proclaimed dinosaur that she is not a minute to catch her breath for our next presentation. We already passed it, so we're going to do it.
And I know it's a lot, but it's important that parents read these documents. In the event that something happened, we would want to know exactly what everyone was supposed to do. So please.
Should that be updated maybe midway through the year, sent to parents again, just to make sure it's correct?
The pandemic response.
The whole code of conduct, just,
It's only once a year,
It's
that's
done.
what I'm out, yeah.
yeah, it's just once a year.
Once a year, and if we get comments, we'll make sure that we keep it on a document and highlight it so that when we review the next year, we can make those changes.
And then hopefully parents will contact the district if things change about emergency contacts.
Correct.
That was the question. Emergency dismissal plan.
So,
I guess our public session is over, and now we'll go to your presentation that you have for us.
okay, so this is what everybody's waiting for. Catskill Central School District High School, Middle School Staffing Configuration for 25-26. And I'd like to go through the presentation, and then if you have questions, we'll get to it at the end, because one slide leads into another. The information has to be put together before we ask individual questions. Okay. Where'd she go?
Matter, don't you have to click slideshow, remember?
No. Okay, let's see.
No, you got it, right there. Yeah, there you go. Our business.
So why are we here? We've heard all year last year about this reconfiguration, how to do and what to do. Don't you go anywhere.
Don't go far, that's all.
So to begin with, changes in configuration have to be approved by New York State Education Department. The process begins with the New York State Education Department Office of Accountability. In accordance with the CR 100.21, districts considering requesting changes in grade configuration, name, or location are required to submit a public school registration form in the New York State Ed portal no later than March 1st for schools opening in September of the next successive year. Here. Thank you.
Sure. We're just gonna, I'll just dig.
Okay.
You can dig.
Okay, I'll dig.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, I think we need to go back one. Okay, all right, go ahead. So getting started with the process. Districts considering a modification of public schools registration should email a summary of the proposed changes to the registration office at State Ed. In early mid-January, NYSED will begin assigning appropriate forms in the NYSED applications business portal based on those requests. Superintendents should submit the requested information by the submission deadline, allowing time for review. So this information goes into the portal and they assign someone to that case, and you will have forms in the business portal to react to and complete during the school year. Ding. To be approved, this request has to be approved. To be approved, completed public school request forms must include a signed board resolution showing the approval of the requested public school changes.
So Jeff, question, this hasn't happened at all yet, right? Like,
No.
It's been completed, okay,
No, we're square one.
or just a square?
We need a copy of the public meeting notice, the results of the parent survey, comments and meeting notes. This information, any of this is available at www.NYSED Government Accountability Public School. You can go and read all of this at your leisure if you like. Ding. So, what now? In collaboration with the administrative team, the following process and structure has been developed for 2025-26 at the high school, middle school. This has been an ongoing discussion at all of the admin meetings. So this is where we are. Mr. Didana will create a task force team of all stakeholders to discuss the process, goals, and the intent of the request to create one campus for high school and middle school. And I did speak with Mr. Didana, and he agreed to take on this responsibility, which I was very grateful for. Mr. Didana will be the lead agent and will involve administration, staff, parents, and students in the discussion to create the high school, middle school as one campus. Monthly meetings will be held, sign-in sheets will be kept for each meeting, as well as minutes that include the topics discussed. So, what do we need to think about? What should we consider? How can we provide the best environment for our students, teachers, and staff? Consider the physical layout of the two buildings. That is a big one. Because if we have one office, how long is it going to take a middle school student to get up here? What do we have to do? How can we provide appropriate access to administration, secretarial staff, attendance personnel, transportation, support services, in order to create a seamless environment for all? All of these things have to be thought about. And we need to have our counselors and our emergency people who can help us with student issues available to students. How can we maximize current classroom space for both buildings? What else do we need to consider? The total use of all campus buildings. We need to take a look at everything. Catskill is good at short-term planning. We need to get on our long-term planning hats and figure out how we can make this sustainable. The location of the business office, location of the superintendent's office. expanding special ed program to incorporate an apartment living program, considering a capital project to maximize funding, and again, how can we best serve all of our students? So, conclusion, Catskill is not ready for a decision regarding reconfiguration at this time. A plan for the upcoming year is being presented tonight, and it has been a collaboration with all administrators who have consulted with clerical staff team. Mr. DiDonna will be the executive principal at the high school. Mrs. Koger will be the assistant principal at the high school. Mr. John Rivers will be the principal at the middle school. We will advertise for an assistant principal at the middle school. Brian Smith will become a .4 athletic director, and Brian Smith will teach 3 classes at the high school, middle school campus. The position of Dean of Discipline will not be active this year. 1 middle school clerical will transition to the special ed office at CES. That is already in the works. 1 middle school clerical will be the middle school office worker doing all things middle school. Attendance, referrals, phone calls from parents, whatever is deemed middle school issues. 1 clerical person from the high school will move to the middle school to assume sub-calling and provide athletic director support for phone calls, arranging buses, referees, ordering, and such. 1 clerical person will be the secretary to the principal at CHS and take on other duties as assigned by the principal. That's not there, but that's the intent. 1 other clerical person will be assigned duties by the high school principal to supplement that person. The attendance person will assume new duties as designated by the principal. So that's where we are. Yes.
So our last superintendent made it seem like he made the decision one campus. So you're saying there were no steps taken with the state ed to actually put that in place?
Board members?
I think the government should have a say or a comment, because this is pretty important to our kids and our future. But we want to go one at a time, or not. I think that's the deal on that. I don't know.
I don't know. Mr. Rivers is going to be the middle school principal. Does that mean we've done away with his hierarchy position?
Yes. For this time. If we get to a point where the middle school principal is not a position, he will be allowed to return to the athletic, the director of PE, phys ed, and all of that health.
So we were told by the previous superintendent that we were out of compliance and he must have that position.
I was going to ask you to comment on that, explain that to us.
So is that position, we did work, been added to someone else's?
No. That position is on the books, it's been on the books, and from what the lawyers have told me, 95% of the schools do not have that person.
So how much would we have saved? Thank you.
And that's why Mr. Rivers is moving to the principal position. So.
I personally agree, well, I like the idea of 2 principals.
Yes.
Principals, but that's up to the administrators and you, most importantly.
Well, you have to decide to.
I know, but if that's your recommendations and everyone thinks this is a good idea. I do, but
I think it's great too. I like the way that you're shifting things around and using people to do jobs that they're supposed to do or jobs that they
And it's cost effective.
I'm really excited about it.
So who handles discipline then?
The assistant
Assistant.
principal. We'll have an assistant principal in each building.
And that, but I'm saying that, is that gonna be their main role, discipline?
No, they'll be sharing duties.
With the principal?
Yes, and the principal will be there to coach them and to ask for help and whatever it is that needs to be done. I think to me, it's a win.
I mean, I'll say it, we are damaged, because we need support back for our kids, for our staff. Putting back a principal into school and maybe is just beneficial to everyone. We need more hands on deck to help these kids and these parents and these teachers. I think it's a step in the right direction to make sure that people are comfortable with coming here, comfortable with sending their kids here and having a person to call, answer, going to one person, or one or two people for a campus of 700 students is just not, it's not equitable, especially with mental health concerns, school safety concerns. It's just, I'd much rather put money into things that won't go into kids than not.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so we now have a direction. And everyone will appreciate that. Staff has been very concerned about who's doing what, where we're going, how school opens in 4 weeks. And so thank you for the support. This is awesome.
Thank you for adding a little common sense back to things.
You're welcome. I don't know anything else.
All right, so now we just did superintendent's report, so now we're moving on to E, board action and discussion items. So we do have an appointment of resignation of a board, acceptance of resignation of board member, and an appointment of a new board member. So if you would like to vote on, if we can separate voting on E1 through E3, so we can then vote on accepting. Yeah. Yep. So I'll take a motion to vote on E1 for the acceptance of the agenda as presented or amended. Can I get a motion for E1? Second? All in favor? Great. So we have E2, which is the approval of, to adopt the district-wide safety plan, which was just presented to us here. We thank you, Deb, and thank you, admin, for working hard on this to make sure that our kids are safe. It's super important. Can I get a motion on that one? Tracy in a second. Charles, all in favor? Any opposed? Same thing with E3, the approval of the code of conduct. Again, thank you, admin and Deb, for working hard on this to make sure that our kids have rules to follow and that they are held to that. Can I get a motion for E3? Karen, second. Charles, all in favor? Alrighty, we have the acceptance of a resignation of a board member. We want to thank Mr. Izzo for his time and service on the board. If we can get a motion to accept his resignation. Patty, a second. Tracy, all in favor? Aye. And we are very fortunate that we called Mr. Brown, as he did put in his time and efforts to run for the school board, and we are happy that he is accepted and will be joining us. So after we appoint, we will read his oath and we will welcome him to the board. Can I get a motion to appoint Mr. Brown? Michael Consul, and then a second. Karen, all in favor? All right, congratulations, coming up. You come on this way, we have to read this to you first. So I'll read this, you can just repeat after me, and then you'll sign this paperwork, and we're good to go. So I raise your hand, and in the state of New York and Green County, the town of Catskill, in the village of Catskill, for the Catskill Central School District, Please repeat this after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of member of the Board of Education
of member of the Board of Education
for the Catskill School District according to the best of my ability.
for the Catskill School District according to the best of my ability.
So, thank you so much. There you go. All right, and then we have E6, we have the approval of a law firm to represent and defend the school district in a case. So if I can get a motion on that. Charles, a second. Mr. Consul, and then all in favor? And just give him a second. Mr. Brown, are you a yay for us appointing a law firm, or do you want to abstain, or do you want to vote no?
I'll abstain, I have no.
Okay. Excellent, sounds good, thank you very much. We're going to move to our board action consent. Everything here, thank you, Nuala and Deb, for working on this. I did get a chance to read everything here. Anybody want to discuss any of these, F1 through F31? That would be a personnel.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's about 10, the cell phone policy.
So we can't really do the questions now because this was part of the first part. But if you want to talk to us afterwards,
Okay. There's just some discrepancy on there.
yeah, we can talk about that. That's fine.
Yeah.
For the board, anyone F1 through F31? Any questions there? All right, if we can get a motion to approve board action consent F1 through F31. Motion, Karen. A second. Anyone? So a second from any of the board members? Karen? Second. Michael, thank you. All in favor? And then if you want to abstain again, yeah. So.
I have to abstain too. The minutes.
Okay. So two, well, it's not going, we're going to. So that will make our quorum, so then that would then fail, which would then put a lot of agreements for some of our special education kids on hold.
It's a July meeting,
No, the minutes were
July
first.
1st.
Oh, but I came in at the end.
So if you want, we can always separate and go one at a time.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. So we're going to go back and we're going to just do F1. So I think we have to then motion to go back and separate into each specific items. So can I get a motion to separate F1 through F31 into pieces? We have to have that. So motion to separate into specific items. And a motion from Charles, a second from Patty. All in favor to separate board action consent? Any abstentions on that? All right, so we'll go F1, approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to F1? Patty, second Tracy, all in favor? Okay. Abstained, yep. Board action consent 2, F2, acceptance of treasurer's report. Can I get a motion? Michael, second. Tracy, all in favor? Okay. F3, acceptance of claims audits report. Can I get a motion for that one? Michael, a second. Karen, all in favor? Excuse me. F4, approval of budget, budget transfers. Can I get a motion? Patty, a second. Tracy, all in favor? Any abstentions or no? So abstain. You want to abstain, right, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. F5, transportation contracts. Can I get a motion? Tracy, a second. Karen, all in favor? Any no's? Abstain? Okay, yep. Number 6, we have acceptance of CSE and CPSE recommendations from last school year, 24-25. Can I get a motion on that one? Michael, second. Tracy, all in favor? And then abstention. Okay, thank you. F7 here, we have acceptance for 2025-2026 recommendations for CSE and CPSE. Just for those of you who don't know what that is, CSE is for the Community and Special Education, and the P in that is for preschool students. So number 7, acceptance for this upcoming school year. Can I get a motion? Patty, a second. Charles, all in favor? And then abstain. Thank you, Paul. 504 recommendations, acceptance for that. That's going to be F8. So can I get a motion for 24-25? We have Michael, second. Tracy, all in favor? Okay, thank you. F9, we have acceptance of the 504 accommodation plan. Can I get a motion for that? Tracy, a second. Karen, all in favor? Great. Here we have F10, excuse me, the first reading and adoption of policy. So this is our first reading. So then with our first reading, we go back, talk about it, and we then have a second reading, a third reading. If we wanted to just push this through, we could, but I think it's, you know, appropriate to have 2 readings so we can. It's got to be approved tonight for the state. Excellent.
That's what it says first.
Okay, go Pats. Excellent, read it twice. So F10, the first reading and final adoption of policy 5695 for students in electronic devices. Can I get a motion on that one? Michael, a second. Charles, all in favor? And then we have our abstention. F11, approval of football agreement. This also says maximum allowed expenditure to be capped at 10 grand. Can I get a motion on that one? Thank you, Charles. A second. Football agreement. Tracy, all in favor? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. I apologize for all breaking it down. Let's go with F12, approval of obsolete and surplus book equipment. Can I get a motion on that one? Thank you, Patty. A second. Charles, all in favor? Thank you. We have acceptance of a donation, so we want to thank you, the CEF, that's the Catskill Educational Foundation. They have donated an Ozobot, which is really exciting for CES. Thank you again, CEF. Can I get a motion to accept that donation for the Ozobot? Michael, a second. Tracy, all in favor? All opposed or abstentions? Thank you, sir. We have another donation from CEF for a Pete the Cat grant to CES. Thank you again, CEF. Can I get a motion for Pete the Cat? Thank you, Charles. Can I get a second? Thank you, Patty. All in favor? Okay, all opposed? Thank you. All right, acceptance of donation again from CEF. Thank you for giving kindergarten STEM grant to CES. Thank you again. Can I get a motion? Patty, a second. Charles, all in favor? Thank you very much. A kayak. Thank you, Jeanette Rakucci. I don't know if she's here or not, but thank you for the kayak. We appreciate it. Can I get a motion to accept that donation? Tracy, a second. Karen, all in favor? Any opposed or any abstentions? None? All right, that was everyone. All right, we have a CTA MOA agreement, improving prescriptions. Thank you very much, CTA. We're working so closely with our leadership here. Can I get a motion for the CTA MOA? Thank you, Michael. A second. Thank you, Karen. All in favor? Okay, all opposed? And abstentions? Thank you, Mr. Brown. We'll go CAA MOA. Can I get a motion on that one? Thank you, Charles. A second. Thank you, Karen, and all in favor? All right, excellent. All opposed or abstained? Thank you, Mr. Brown. Approval of CSEA MOA. Can I get a motion for the approval of CSEA MOA? Lots of letters tonight, I'm sorry. Thank you, Charles, a second. Karen, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. We're getting there, I'm sorry, everyone. We have F20, we have approval of district-wide improvement curriculum and SPED grants for summer 2025. This is super important work, so thank you to all the staff that are involved with this to help make our school best place it can be. Can I get a motion for F20? Michael, a second. Karen, all in favor? All opposed? And then any abstentions? Paul, we're good? Okay, thank you. Approval of agreement F21 for occupational and pizza services for our kids here. Can I get a motion for F21? Tracy, a second. Michael, all in favor? All opposed or abstained? Thank you, sir. Another approval of agreement for Wildwood. Can I get a motion? F22. Michael, a second. Charles, all in favor? Thank you, thank you. F23, approval of Spec Ed Solutions Agreement. Can I get a motion on that? Charles, a second. Tracy, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. F24, approval of RMR Health and Speech Pathology Services Agreement for 2025-26. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Michael. A second. Thank you, Karen. All in favor? Thank you. All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. F25, Neil Hummel School Agreement. Can I get a motion there? Thank you, Charles. A second. Michael, thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, sir. Another one to approve the Nurse Connection Staff Agreement. Can I get a motion on that? Chuck, a second. Michael, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. 27, Northeast Parent-Child and Child Society Agreement. Can I get a motion at 27? Tracy, a second. Okay. Thank you, sir. And all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. Another approval of Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health Agreement for 25-26. Can I get a motion for F28? Michael, second. Charles, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you. F29, Center for Spectrum Services Agreement. Can I get a motion? Tracy, can I get a second? Charles, I'm sorry, hold on. All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. Almost done. I'm sorry, everyone. Approval of Coxsackie Avenue Central School District agreements for summer school 2025. Can I get a motion? Charles, a second. Tracy, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. And last one, BART MAT MOA for student teachers, who I understand. Can I get a motion for 31? Karen, a second. Michael, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir. Debbie mentioned something about our resignations. Now we're on G. And we want us to, just thank everyone for their time. I don't know if you wanted to add anything. Thank you very much to Sarah Doherty, 8th grade science teacher, for her years with us. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, same thing, PE teacher at CES, I believe.
Yeah.
That's correct. Thank you, Dr. Mercer, for your time. Thank you, Meg, who I believe is here somewhere filming. Hi, Meg. Thank you. We are so sad to see you leave, but we're happy to see you come, so I'll see you soon. And Samantha Orser, so thank you very much for your time there. We also, Matt, is Brian here today?
Yeah,
Okay. So we are appointing a district treasurer, which we are very excited about, and we do have some other people that are here for instructional staff appointments. Are Kristen or Leah here in the audience?
No.
No? All right, and then the rest we just have some chaperones, extracurricular appointments. We thank everyone for their time. We can just do this one in one fell sweep. So can I get a motion for G1? G1 through G6. A motion for G1 through G6. Patty, a second. Charles, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Favor?
I was in.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. It was in favor. So then we'll talk about our committee reports at our next meeting once we have more people here. We have a policy committee, the finance committee, we have a building and grounds committee, tech committee, and a safety. Health and safety, so there's 5. So when more people are here, we'll definitely talk about them. We'll have those up and we'll go from there. So we'll move to K, visit recognition on school-related non-agenda items. So Andy Carter, if you want to come on up. Sure. You have 3 minutes, so if you want to just give us your...
It'll be quick.
Okay.
So I was here on the June 11th meeting, so for those that weren't here then, it's about the camera that's up at the turf field. So we have cameras in the gym, in the different gymnasiums for sports and other streaming. So we have a camera that's up at the field, but it hasn't been working since they installed it. So I was here in June. Mr. Rivers, I don't know if he's here, but
No.
okay. So at the time, he said, "Yep, we signed a contract. It's going to be worked on." And then I asked for an update, and they said, "End of next week, this should be working." So our season starts August 18th, and the next board meeting is August 27th. So if anybody can kind of help make sure, because I've heard end of next week for like 18 months. So if anybody can help us make sure that actually happens end of next week, because I mean the camera's there. I think we're paying for it. I don't know for sure.
The wiring was not completed, and from what I understand, they're going to do some kind of a loop. Now, this is from the technology expert here. And it is in the works, but I will follow up with Mr. Rivers when he gets back. I will speak to Brian Smith tomorrow if he's in, or Monday, but I will get an answer for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's super handy for us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mudge, if you would like, based on what you wrote, I almost think it would be better if you had time to come in and talk to us privately if there's, certain student information in there that would be.
I don't plan on mentioning any names of students or school employees that were involved in it. But I think the board as a whole should know what happened, what's going on, and it's almost a blessing that some school employees are going back to positions that they're better suited for, because they stuck with the ones that they were currently in this past year.
Okay, so I think I'd rather have you come in and talk to us so we can get more of an idea, because we have a lot of people that don't know all the players in the game. So if you have some time.
I think everyone here knows who the dean of the discipline.
You can't use titles.
He's saying that,
Oh,
but
you can't use titles?
Yeah, no, just
in
name.
there you can tell us what our.
Right, sorry. If you
In
want.
there you can tell us what our.
So when can we go with?
So we're almost done with our meeting, and we're not exactly, we do have some things that we're going to review.
Oh,
very tight, and you want to come and kind of talk to us more about what's happening.
Okay.
I would rather have more specific information than,
Sure.
that would be better. So,
100%.
okay.
Will the public get an update on this issue?
We probably won't be able to publicize an update on that, unless it was something comparable, which I hope will not be to what's happening a little south of us. I hope it's something to that extent, if you know what I'm saying, but I mean, I don't, we have to see what happened and then talk to our lawyers and see what they'll recommend. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go into executive session. We will not be acting on our item, we will be here for quite some time. So just so everyone is prepared, be on order. So can I get a motion to go into executive session? Patty, a second. Karen, all in favor? Okay, all opposed? No abstentions, so we will not be acting, so you want to go home. Thank you for coming.